Alright, so remember the video that we did not too long ago where I talked about how there is basically no anime YouTuber out there that can really carry the torch that, was started off by a few other bigger ones that we have out there? I kind of want to return to that topic, and not because I want to talk more about carrying the torch, because in reality, there is people that will carry that torch. There is people that is there. You just gotta find them and look for them, honestly. But also keep in mind, anime talking about it in this sort of way is kind of a niche way of doing things. Much less, that's why the algorithm is not necessarily going to help you in any shape and form, which is why I understand why people will come through, and do variety types of content or stick to something else, as people have pointed out to me when it comes down to it, right? So I understand why. There's people that will carry it, but no one is big enough to do so, right? And that's really unfortunate. Mainly, what I want to focus on today is the fact that people are kind of just ragging on Trash Taste again. What else is new? But when it comes down to it, about their take on visual novels and not finishing visual novels, or at least not really enjoying reading those things. And one take was so in particular, which what got Twitter up in an outrage, was, oh, we can't read anything past 7 hours, which, to be fair, I'll be honest with you, am I a visual novel person? Absolutely not. Like, don't get me wrong, yes, I have watched Danganronpa, I have, played through Doki Doki, I have played through some very long, lengthy texting-ass games. That being said, I am not the biggest visual novel person, so maybe I can't speak of this, but I probably wouldn't want to sit there and just deal with something unless it's just something absolutely interesting, and it's something that is just different than what else that is out there. But that being said, a lot of people have just straight up again ragged on them when it comes down to it, basically kind of just labeling it as like a whole bunch of bad takes, and just talking about the general history of a lot of anitubers and the reason why people stop watching them and stop really caring too much because of all the bad takes and all that sort of stuff, and especially when it hits on the more higher level of anitubers, right? And that's like the biggest thing that people kept bringing up when it comes down to this whole discussion. Which, I think I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. This is the reason why I hated the 2015-2016 era of just anime on YouTube and anime online at that point. Because there was so much bad takes and so many different people taking certain parts of anime and just deliberately shitting on it without actually learning what the hell it is, and straight up just refusing to learn what it is, to the point that it led a lot of bad takes to end up happening. And then it doesn't help when you do have more people that is at the top that are elitists or act elitist talk about different shows that don't really need to be super heavily, talked about, or at least it can be talked about, but then you kind of miss the other shows that come out during that same season, and no one wants to branch out to those shows. Because let's be very honest with you, the main shows that a lot of these bigger YouTubers will talk about is essentially the ones that make you think a bit more. The shows that make you, think about life in a way, or have a deep dive research into whatever this anime is talking about. And will probably neglect or do not care for shows that is less than that, right? That's why you don't ever really see anybody talk about shows like a, interspecies review, or something like an Edith and Deities, or things of that sort, because to them it probably would be, for them at least, a low caliber ass show, which is insanely unfortunate, because even though these shows don't make you think like super methodically and all that type of stuff, it still is worth talking about. But then again, these are the type of shows that will probably get those bad takes, because as we kind of seen time over and over again, that just kind of is what it is. Same thing when it comes to the shonen variety. Like, how many times have we seen people just rag on My Hero because it fell off and stuff like that? And I will agree, I don't necessarily like how the end of the war arc ended, honestly. I think there should have been a death in there. There should have been, certain characters that should have just died in general within the damn show. But when it comes down to it, though, am I going to just sit here and say that the entirety of MHA was trash? Not necessarily, but so many people will brag on that shit. And just not MHA, but just generally other shows that is like it within shonen, or just trash on a shonen in general, even though there is really good shows within that genre of it. And then the worst part about it is that when you start seeing, anime get mainstream and they see takes like that, they must assume it's true because someone that has over 1 million subscribers or whatever will say that it is what it is, and then they'll take that idea and think it's actually true, and then years later they have to kind of come back and tell you that, it's not necessarily that serious of a subject. But then now at times they will never really tell you that, honestly. They'll just basically say what's on their mind, and that's essentially about it. And then it's basically led to the people like myself who are smaller to kind of clean up the job of what they end up left, and that kind of is just a whole ass annoying thing when it comes down to it. So going back to the whole visual novel take, to be very real with you, it's kind of not valid in the slightest, to be very honest with you, because really think about it, even if it's not a visual novel that you're looking forward to reading and whatever, one, it's a novel, so of course they're going to take quite a bit of time to finish reading and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to do it in one setting. It is, a novel at the end of the day, so you don't have to finish it in one setting like any good book, right? And number two, you do realize that maybe it's not just for you to delve deep into visual novels, and if you want to delve deep into it, but you still complain about the hours, but if you play other games or do other things that take up even more time in the visual novel, then what the hell are we talking about here, right? It'll be crazy for someone to say, I can't sit through a 7-hour visual novel and I like those, but equally play things like Kingdom Hearts or Persona or anything of that sort that takes literally like 72 hours or like a good chunk of hours to beat the whole ass game. And it would be absolutely insane for you to say like, oh, I can't deal with visual novels. Bitch, yes you can, you just don't try. In one of the parts of it where they were talking about how Doki Doki Literature Club is like a long quote-unquote visual novel, I was like, wait, what? No. No, it's really not. It's not just, and the thing is too, DDLC is not just a visual novel, it is also a damn horror game. So when it comes down to it, of course the build up in the beginning is going to take a little minute. It's trying to scare you or give you the sense of something isn't right here and something is very bad that's potentially going to happen when it comes down to it, and you might need to just pay attention to what the hell is going on, right? They're building suspense, they're building tension and potentially, the atmosphere of the game. That is the whole ass point of why they started that very long beginning section, honestly. Yes, it could seem very boring. Yes, it turned a lot of people off. I remember Corey Kenshin was playing it first and he didn't even go back to finishing it, which is a damn shame. So when it comes down to it, this is like what they had did. And as someone that has played it, at least when the Switch version came out, to be very honest with you, even though yes it was a very slow beginning, I was intrigued because I already knew what this was going to be about, honestly. So at the end of the day, it's just a fake ass visual novel that's just trying to scare you with the overall theme of what's going on, essentially. And kind of can say the same thing about something like Danganronpa, because it's somewhat low-key kind of like a visual novel, except there is some gameplay elements, but still nonetheless it's mostly just reading the damn screen half the time, right? So when it comes down to it, you could equally say that that's long and that's a bit, I guess too damn long when it comes down to it. But then there's so much crazy shit that happens within the story. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of intrigued on where the hell this shit is going. Granted, does Danganronpa have to be like that? No. But for what it is and what they often do, it just kind of is like, yeah, you know what? The story's crazy enough. The characters are wild enough to keep me intrigued. So I might as well see where this shit goes. And no possible difference is that going to be for, The Last Defense Academy when that come out next year. Most likely it's going to be the same damn boat with just being somewhat of a visual novel with gameplay elements in it. And just, it feels like a visual novel, but it's not going to be a full-blown one. But still, it will probably have those features and details carry through when it comes to the game, and it's gonna probably be a crazy ass story with a bunch of crazy ass characters, as we already seen one with a damn mime chick. This is probably the reason why, no, this isn't probably, this is the reason why people tune off a lot of anime YouTubers when it comes down to it, is because when some type of take like this happens and the internet gets a hold of it and they see this and they don't understand how they think like this, then yeah, it's no wonder why people don't watch many content creators like that and, you know, give anybody else that's new a chance when it comes down to it. Because yeah, there's a lot of wild takes out there. There's a lot of really ridiculous takes that is out there, which once again feels like 2015, 2016 type of anime YouTube or anime community online when it comes down to it, because it's just like all these bad takes, all these type of, you know, ideas of what certain things are, and only experiencing certain things and not experiencing every other thing that's out there. And then it's just like, yeah, I can understand why, again, people don't like this type of stuff and why there's so many bad takes that's completely out there. Plus, when we really look at trash tastes like that, only one person in the entirety of trash taste really be watching anime hard, which would be Giga, if I'm being perfectly honest. And if he's gonna say something, then, you know, at the most, he would probably be somebody that I would probably listen to the most out of any damn body. But then I say, because at the same time, does the anime man watch anime anymore? Not really. He kind of just moves on to Japanese society and things of the sort. And does Sea-Dog do it? Not really either, because he just does whatever the hell he wants to do, which, you know, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like, there's not really anybody that's talking about it too much, and it's understandable why, again, people will tune and turn away from it, especially when you consistently have ideas and takes like this. And it starts to add up and it starts to make a lot of sense. That's essentially what I wanted to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification way out. Also follow me on the socials and let's donate to the channel. Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's the boy Jay signing off. Have a blessed day.